to homes and businesses. Call Goldilocks at 708-889-5600.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
Insert Democrat socialist here.
Runs the Democratic House floor for 30 plus years running. He's promising this and he's stealing that. Where can you get that kind of money? He's using your house like his own piggy bank. You ought to know by now. You can pay off your house here in Illinois, but you can never keep up with the taxes. Oh, how it's always been the plan to have a taxpayer pay, no doubt. Not a matter of if anymore, but when. You're moving out. I said, when you're moving out.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. Before we get to all things Illinois politics related, I just want to address a Charlie Kirk clip I heard during the break that shouldn't indict Obama because he's popular, and it'd be worse to indict Comey and Brennan, and it would be worse to indict them and not convict them to not indict them at all. Completely disagree. And frankly, that's not the standard. The standard to bring a criminal case is not the popularity of the target. The standard is the quality of the case. The standard is not the likelihood of success. The standard is the quality of the case. The quality of the case. So show me what kind of case you have. I mean, you don't just indict him to indict him. You don't do that to anybody. There is one standard, or there needs to be, when it comes to the application of criminal law. The quality of the case, the evidence. That's the standard, period. And it's frustrating when conservatives want to play the same game that the left does with respect to standards when we're talking about something as serious as criminal law and the deprivation of people's freedoms, ultimately, which is what's at stake in a criminal proceeding. Okay. Jelly Belly at the State Fair last week was hailing all the wonders that he and the New Marxist Party have brought to Illinois. You can get a flavor for it right here.
To the pundits and the critics about what direction the National Democratic Party needs to go, I say, take a look at Illinois Democrats. Yes, winning elections is partly about messaging and strategy, but it's mostly about values and delivering on them. And our values are exactly where they ought to be. So it's time to stop apologizing when we're not wrong. And it's time to stop surrendering when we need to fight. And yes, folks, we are messing with Texas. Our farmers and small businesses don't deserve to be bankrupted by Trump's tariff wars. Our working class families don't deserve to lose their health care because Republicans in Congress want to hand a massive tax cut to billionaires. Our federal workers don't deserve to have some 19-year-old Doge bro called Big Balls destroy their careers. Kids and adults with autism, loving contributors to our society, don't deserve to be stigmatized by a weird Nepo baby who once stashed a dead bear in the backseat of his car. Immigrants who are obeying the law and paying their taxes, hoping one day to become U.S. citizens, don't deserve to be grabbed off the street and shipped off to Libya without due process. Our brave brave soldiers don't deserve to be told by a washed-up Fox TV commentator who drank too much and committed sexual assault before being appointed Secretary of Defense that they can't serve this country simply because they're black or gay or a woman.
So apparently the main thing he has done for Illinois is to oppose Trump since his reelection 7 months ago, or since his inauguration 7 months ago. That's the main thing he's done for Illinois. I mean, that's the summary of that he offered of 8 years as governor. That's making lives better for Illinoisans. One thing, though, just on immigrants, one thing they do deserve, people in this country illegally. One thing they do deserve, in addition to paying in-state tuition to go to institutions of higher education in the state of Illinois that are financed by taxpayers, U of I to the tune of $700 million a year. They deserve to be subsidized with in-state tuition, even though they're in this country illegally. They also deserve access to financial aid. That's legislation I mentioned earlier in the show that Pritzker just signed on Friday that guarantees, quote unquote, undocumented students in Illinois have the same access to student financial aid that Illinois families who are American citizens or otherwise in this country legally have access to, because there is no difference between being here legally and being here illegally. Not according to Jelly Belly. And all of those new Marxists who dominate the General Assembly. Making your lives better by opposing everything Trump does. Okay. The other, at least 4 of the other 8 years, what, nothing? Just supporting everything Biden does. That's what you expect out of your governor and your state leadership. For more on this, Mark Glennon, founder and executive editor of Wirepoints, wirepoints.com, joins us. Mark, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Morning, Dan. Thank you.
So the deliverables from that governor and his party over the last 8 months, the last 4 years, the last 8 years, what say you?
Geez, what is he thinking? What are they thinking? I mean, you go down the list of the headlines just in the past week or two, and Illinois doesn't want this. They want the border enforced, and we're putting out more inducements for illegals to come here. Yeah, there ought to be some humanity in how we deal with deportation issues, but they want the borders enforced. I mean, you just go down the list of everything, and he is out of sync with Illinois and the rest of the nation. I'd like to know who his pollster is. Crime, the Safety Act, Illinoisans don't want that. Open borders, of course. Woke, politicized classrooms, climate. They want to see a mix of things, not this sole focus on renewables. They know there's a financial crisis. Pritzker denies it. Population laws, Pritzker denies it. Go down the list. It goes on, and he's just out of sync. We haven't written many original stories, but if you go to Wirepoints, you just look at the headlines from third-party sources on recent news, and the jokes write themselves. This is a horror story manifest. He's signing bill after bill that's nobody wants. You just had that wonderful clip too of Jeannie Ives summarizing that bill that mandates mental health testing for kids up through high school. Mental health doesn't mean that you're crazy necessarily, but I'll tell you what's crazy is the Democrats, of all people, imposing that law because it's their kids who are most susceptible to the errors that are going to be in this. There's a 50% error rate in diagnosis of people with mental health problems, and research consistently shows that it's young female liberals that overwhelmingly complain about mental health problems, at ratio of 2 to 1 over other groups. and they're going to get diagnosed. They're going to get tagged as having a mental health problem by the school system and in their own minds. This is just crazy, and it's getting worse and worse.
The mental health screening, the mandatory mental health screening I know there's an opt-out, but in terms of the sort of culture it's going to create in K through 12, or at least grades 3 through 12 within K through 12, which is K through 12 in terms of culture. It's interesting that has struck a nerve. You never know what's going to strike a nerve among a populace that is largely appears to be numb to pain. But that has really struck a nerve. I think parents are wary enough to say, these are the wrong people in charge of the wrong thing at the wrong place. I don't like it. I don't like where this is going to go. There are enough sort of horror stories. The mental health is a complicated topic, and this is just not something that should be done sort of en masse and willy nilly. And and probably a lot of them say, I'm seeing some of what my kids come home with, and I'd like a little bit more focus on the core mission here, reading and writing and critical thinking, and a little less on everything but those things.
Yes, and so stop telling my kids that they're mentally ill and need medications and everything else. Just teach them what they need to learn. That's what we need. It's people understand this, and this is an unfunded mandate, by the way, too. It's up to schools to find the people who are going to make these assessments. You can imagine how badly that's going to be done, especially in a place like Chicago. Stacey Davis Gates is essentially going to be in charge of this. It's a total mess. I'm glad that has really caught a nerve. It's caught national headlines, and Pritzker ought to be reamed for it here in Illinois and across the nation.
The other thing that's
first in the nation to do this, by the way.
Yeah, first in the nation on the mental health screen, mandatory mental health screen, right? The other thing that's catching a bit of a nerve too. Not at like state-run media. The big story about CPS this week. The kids, all those budding honor students went back to school yesterday. Well, not all of them, some of them. The story from state-run media, WBEZ, what are Chicago public high schoolers wearing the first day of class? And you get perspectives on the outfits that different kids at CPS are wearing, with some commentary, like when you put together a good outfit and you step outside, you just feel more confident in yourself. Ethan Martinez looked at the clothes hanging in his closet in 7th grade and thought it was time for a change. The colorful T-shirts from his parents with graphics of kids' characters didn't seem appropriate for a soon-to-be high schooler. That's when he started shopping for himself. Now Ethan follows the trends and styles, his everyday fits, as the kids call them, for a put-together look, and so on and so forth. Fascinating distillations of the thinking of these young people in terms of the outfits that they select. Probably uniforms, generally speaking, would be a better play, but that I digress. The point is, the real story of CPS is not what Ethan is wearing to school. It's that we just had the State Board of Education dumb down the standards to meet the actual performance of more of the kids in CPS. In other words, reduce what the scores necessary to be considered proficient in reading and math, because that's the real problem in CPS. The standards are too high.
Yeah, that too is getting national headlines. Pritzker's getting embarrassed about that. Your schools are failing. Just change the standards to say that they're improving. That's what they're trying to do. This is another topic where parents have woken up. Thanks largely to my colleagues' work, Ted and John at Wirepoints. Illinois has become aware of how badly these schools are performing, even though Pritzker denies it. And the teachers' unions, of course, are losing credibility. The polls show that the public has turned overwhelmingly against Chicago Teachers Union. Finally, they recognize that those unions are not the same as teachers in general, and are willing to blame the unions for their role in this. But message isn't getting across to our supermajority in the legislature and Governor Pritzker.
Well, the other story coming out of CPS is, the the financial troubles, despite the ever-ballooning budgets, because the ever-ballooning spending exceeds the ever-ballooning budgets. And probably cutting 500 janitors isn't going to be enough.
Huge deficit at the public schools with no solutions in sight to any of this. We have a perfect storm now going in Chicago. The school system, the public transit system facing a $700 million deficit this year, $1 billion next year. Again, no solution in sight, and $1 billion deficit for the city itself, where no solutions are on the table. Chicago's going to have to revert to raising property taxes. I don't think there's any question about it, and that's just going to worsen the cycle.
Well, as long as you oppose Trump, that's the important thing. Mark Glennon, founder and executive editor, Wirepoints, wirepoints.org, all things Illinois policy related. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks so much, Dan. Take care.
And Mark joined us at the Turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's Noble Gold Investments.